Imagine you're in a room all alone by yourself all day long, a window about this big and this wide, no company, and then you're forced to put on a show. You have food that you really don't care for. It's not your diet. Your water bucket is filled with green algae because the zookeepers forgot to change it. This is a daily life of animals held in captivity or a zoo. I want you to understand how animals held in captivity is wrong and the effects of animals that are held in captivity. One, I will discuss an overall view of animals in captivity. Two, I will discuss the reasons animals should not be in captivity. And three, finally, while animals held in captivity is basically considered slavery. According to the Cambridge Dictionary, animals that are held by humans and prevented from escaping is in captivity. This term is usually for wild animals that are domestic animals or pets or livestock that we eat, as far as chickens, cows, and other animals like that. According to the KQ Ed education site, when it comes to animals in captivity, the captivities don't provide natural habitats that they're used to, and usually puts a lot of stress on animals. And just like humans, animals when they get stressed, they lash out. They start looking sickly. They are emaciated, and a lot of these captivities are not like their natural habitats. They don't have acres and acres to run. They can't stretch their wings, and they can't exercise like they naturally should. According to the LCAanimal.org, all animals need more than zoos can provide, and that makes them go through torture because they have a tight social bond and strong migration. As far as birds, they can't migrate south for the winter. They're basically stuck in that captivity. And according to the visionlaunch.com, there are so many effects and cons with animals living in captivity. Some of the issues related to messing with the natural activity of animals, and the reason is because animals have certain behaviors met only in the wild, like chasing and hunting. Although zoos try to mimic and stimulate the animals to chase meat or fish and get it, it's nothing like naturally catching yourself, learning from your mother, or and watching her and learning your own to survive. The Hindi.com says around December 6, 2013, the Boston lawyer, he's the founder of the Non-Human Rights Project, has filed a lawsuit that shows that animals that are like humans, like chimpanzees or apes and gorillas that show that type of quality, are just as smart as humans and shows a lot of features. He says that should be considered slavery because they're working for food and they have the sense enough to know that they're not really supposed to be there. They're caught and captured to make a buck. The PETA.org says that zoos are considered pitiful prisons. The reason is because of this is because they're all in it for the money. And because that zoos, they don't make enough money, they cut costs on everything as far as the food and establishments and how they are kept and everything like that. So that the money cuts, and so that makes the animals' living conditions not suitable. They're basically focusing on the revenue that they can get at the gate. So the more people they can get in to come in and eat popcorn that's overpriced, or take pictures with a giraffe, or feed an animal for $2, then they're fine with that. They can pocket the money. And that also means that the workers are underpaid, stressed out, and really doesn't want to be there. And I know you, like me, if you're at a place that you really want to be, you don't try, you really don't care, you're just there to make a dollar. And so the animals go unkept, they unhappy, and they're basically miserable. So a lot of them are trying to escape, and unfortunately some will lose their life escaping, but it's nothing like being free. Free is what we all want to be. So today I described an overall view of animals that have captivity. I then discussed the reasons animals should not be in captivity, and finally I talked about why keeping animals in captivity is considered slavery. Zoos are not adequate environment for animals. They put them under stress and have boundaries. Animals are just like humans and deserve to have the same freedom just as humans do. Captivity is only prolonging the boredom animals face while they're in poor living arrangements. Their lives should be enhanced through better and rich programs provided by the zoos, or if they are just left alone in general. Zoos do not provide an appropriate living space for animals in their enclosures, put them under great stress, and limits them. Animals should be able to live their lives freely in the wild where they belong.